our session right now is communication. And so we are just going to be talking about communication for the next little bit of time we have with us. So I'm going to go ahead and start my PowerPoint. And hopefully everybody can see this here. You know, I have 48 screens, it feels like, so I got to get those all situated. If you were in our last session, just send something in the chat, and Jody will stop me if I need to answer questions or things like that. And I've got to move this tab before I can. I'm getting there, y'all. Duplicate. Okay, so now you see my screen, right? Okay, so we're talking about communication, technology for communication of nonverbal students. Now, a lot of you are already very familiar with communication for our students, and you're going to know a lot of the stuff we talk about today. But I wanted to make sure during the Teach for Tomorrow that we had some sessions that were pertinent to our self-contained classes and our students with disabilities. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So communication is the foundation in the self-contained classroom. We know that. Can you tell me, go ahead and put this in the chat box. Why is communication important? Why is it important? I need to stop sharing for just a second because it is not letting me. Jody, I have no idea what's coming by in the chat. It won't let me see the chat box.
Relationships, communication, open door to education, expressing wants and needs, interacting with others, participating in their learning, independence, that's a good one. Communicating needs, behavior is communication. That is 100% true. So all of those are exactly right. And we do want our students to be independent and to be able to communicate what they need. Being able to assess their learning, and communication affects other areas of development. So yeah, lots of great answers there.
Perfect.
Y'all are rock stars.
Y'all are. So yeah, our students, we need to identify the mode of communication for every single student so they can make choices, determine their likes and needs, make their wants and needs known, interact with others, and demonstrate their knowledge. How are you going to know what they've learned that you've taught them if they can't answer the questions or ask questions, things like that? You know, interact with others, saying hello, goodbye, how are you, asking, you know, what's your name, where do you live? You know, I have a personal philosophy that children have more to say than I want a cookie. I feel like when I first started teaching, that was what I focused on, was I want. But sometimes students need to say, I don't really like that, or that's stupid. You know, especially if you're in high school, that's dumb. I don't want to do that, or I don't want to learn that. So you've seen this before if you've been in any class with me, the Communication Bill of Rights. So communication is a right, and these rights are clearly laid out. If you want a copy of this for your classroom, we can make you a copy. We'll make it pretty and colorful and laminate it. And you can just post this in your room and hopefully have conversations. You and the staff in your classroom, and everybody's on the same page, in knowing that every single person has the right to communicate, no matter how low or how physically involved they are. Every child has a right to communicate. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time like looking at these. First, to be given a real choice, not just what you think they want, but given a choice to say no or refuse or reject choices. If you've given them chocolate milk and they don't like chocolate milk, that they can refuse that choice. They have a right to ask for what I want. I have a right to share my feelings. I have a right to be heard and respond to, even if the answer is no. I have a right to have and use my speech system all the time. So let's stay right here for just a second. Sometimes I go into classes and I see devices in closets or in drawers. To me, that's the same as putting tape over a child's mouth. You've taken their ability to speak away. So making sure they have access to that voice all the time. I have the right to ask for and get attention and interaction. You know, we have some students that, it's just easier for them to sit to the side and we don't always interact with them. I have a right to ask and know about my schedule and world. That's kind of hits home sometimes. I have a right to be I have a right to be taught how to communicate. So everyone learns how to communicate differently. It is our job as educators, as special educators, to teach the child how to communicate, whether that's with their device, with words, with pictures, with their facial expressions. We have to teach them that. I have a right to have my speech system in working order and to have an alternate. We're going to talk about that some too. If there's a GoTalk or a Big Mac, that means that it has batteries. It has batteries, it's turned on, it's programmed. And also, what happens when my batteries die or my iPad's not plugged up? I have to have an alternate. There's another way to communicate. So, we'll talk later, but I'm an advocate that students have all forms of communication available and they have to learn other ways, because let's face it, like sometimes you just can't take the iPad to the bathtub, but you might need to say the water's too hot or too cold if you're at home. So having alternate ways to communicate. I have a right to be a full and equal member of my community. I have a right to be treated with respect and dignity. I have the right to be spoken with, not about. Again, that is huge to me. We have students, especially maybe sometimes our severe and profound students, that we think maybe they aren't paying attention or they're listening to what we're saying. Please don't talk about the student in front of the student. Talk to them like they're any other person. We say, hi, how are you? How's it going? What'd you do last night? So they have the right to be spoken with, not about. And then I have the right to communicate with in a sensitive manner. So thinking of all of those rights, again, even sharing these with other staff members in your building, that every child has a right. And I know, like, sometimes this to be spoken with, not about, sometimes our staff in our building who don't work directly with the student, sometimes they'll want to talk about that student in the hallway or wherever, and the student is right there. So just gently, reminding them, look, this student deserves the same respect and dignity that everyone else does. We don't need to be talking about them right in front of them, okay? So now we're going to just go on with our communication. So AAC, augmentative and alternative communication. This is anything other than just naturally speaking, another way to communicate, an alternative form of communication. It's used by people who, some or all the time, cannot rely on their speech, uses symbols, aids, strategies, and techniques to enhance the communication process, incorporates the individual's full communication abilities, and may include any existing speech or vocalizations, gestures, manual signs, aided communication. And AAC is truly multimodal, permitting individuals to use every mode possible to communicate. And I think this is why in our classrooms, in our self-contained MOID SIDPID classrooms, we try to have lots of options for AACs. In most rooms, we have communication boards that we can find in our unique learning system. We have symbol sticks available. We have Big Macs. We have sequenced messaging devices, step-by-steps. We have talkable 2s or 3s, Go Talks, iPads with Proloquo or Touch Chat. So we have lots of options, because sometimes when we're teaching a student, we don't know exactly what they're going to gravitate toward yet. And we want them to have all modes available to communicate. So AAC can be categorized in 2 ways: unaided communication systems and aided communication systems. So unaided communication systems are facial expressions and body language and gestures, sign language. So it doesn't require a physical aid or tool. Then there's aided communication systems. So these tools require pictures, physical tools, something like that. There's symbol boards, choice boards, communication books, keyboards, speech generating devices, AAC apps, mobile devices. So AAC is broken up like that: aided and unaided communication. I love this graphic. And if you did one of my courses this last year over Canvas, this was in the communication section of our teaching students with significant disabilities, this graphic. And it shows us the continuum of AAC, starting with low tech, going to mid tech and high tech. So low tech is, communication boards and eye gaze boards and books and PECs, those things that don't require batteries. Mid-tech are these items that require batteries: Go Talks, single message devices like Big Macs or step-by-steps. And then high-tech devices go on up into the tablets, Proloquo, the Dynavox, those kind of things. But I love this continuum. It's a great picture to show how AAC is categorized. So low-tech communication solutions: to access low-tech communication systems, the student must point, select, exchange, use eye gaze to select what the word they wish to communicate. I'm going to show you this video. Hopefully it'll come up. Can you see my video? Can you see it?
Where all the medical staff.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Whoops. Let me start again. I did that.
I think you may need to click your share sound button.
We're on our way to our next stop.
Okay. Well, I am not doing it. It just keeps stopping. I did not do it that time.
Okay, so it's 7:45 p.m.
I keep hearing a mic from somebody else.
Got on one bus.
I hear that too. So let's see if we can mute everybody. Okay.
You may need to click share computer sound, Kelly said.
Oh, okay. Okay. Somebody said I need to click share computer sound, but I'm not sure how to do that.
It's on your share screen option at the bottom of Zoom. When you go to share the screen, it has an option to share your computer sound.
Oh, I see it. Okay, so I need to stop sharing and reshare and hit share computer sound. Thank you. So we're going to,
All right, let's see if it works now.
Hi everyone, my name's Sarita and welcome back to the Communication Toolbox. Today we're going to talk about a strategy called communication boards. A communication board is a piece of paper that's usually designed with a range of symbols or pictures that a person can use to communicate. A communication board is a form of augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, and it helps a person to better express themselves and to build their understanding of words. A communication board can be made with using just core words. These are words that give us a lot of power in our communication because they can be used anywhere, anytime, and with anyone. For example, a core board like this has words like help, go, and want, which can be used at a dance lesson, at home, or at school. A communication board can also be made just with words for a specific activity. Like here's a board with words just for craft. So I can use this board when I'm learning new words about craft activities like glitter, open, and cut. A communication board can be useful for lots of different reasons. It can help a child process language. It can help them to understand new words, so build their receptive language. It can also show them a different way to express themselves by using augmentative and alternative communication. And it can also show a person how to use new words to communicate for a range of different reasons, like to ask questions, to comment, or to ask for things. Children require support to learn how to use a communication board, and we use a strategy called aided language stimulation. So often we might call our communication boards ALS MATS, standing for Aided Language Stimulation MATS. You can learn more about aided language stimulation by having a look at our video in this series. Thanks for joining us to learn more about communication boards. You can find out more by getting in touch with us.
these are some communication mats that we have made. I've shared these in newsletters in the past, and we do have all of these like pre-printed out, so you can actually come over to our lab and make these. We usually kind of put these out on maybe some big pieces of construction paper and laminate them. So the students have some certain things that they would like to say while they're having mealtime or craft time. This is a great thing. So everybody heard me say lab, and so we are going to tell you some exciting news. Our lab, we think we're going to start calling it the Learning Lab. We aren't sure. We're going to rename it since it got a makeover. But the Learning Lab, the Curriculum Lab, what we used to call it, has had a makeover. It is now clutter-free and bright and relaxing. You can come make lots of things. We have new furniture in there. It looks great. So make sure you come over. I know some of you have lots of things to make over the next few weeks. So come use the lab. We have all the tools that you need to get started with some communication mats. Picture exchange. is another form of AAC, and that's where we are exchanging pictures to get some things that we want or to make some comments. We aren't going to watch this video just because I think we're running a little behind on time. But when you get this, we share this with you, you can view that video. And if you're really interested in PECS as a form of communication, you can Google the PECS system. And we will also are here, we can make these systems for you as well. We can work with your speech pathologist to do that also. So now we're going to talk about some mid-tech communication. Some mid-tech communication solutions, such as the single message device, the sequence message device, multiple device, static display. So those are things that you know as the Big Mac, the step-by-step, the GoTalk. So these usually, a mid-tech solution requires batteries, but also very useful. This is a really cute video that we wanted to show how this student uses a Big Mac to request. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I just want to show you a little bit. So, Big Macs, single message devices are really useful for our students who have profound disabilities, who can't really direct select multiple choices or have some direct finger selection. Maybe they might have some visual impairment, so eye gaze may not be an option. But watch this little girl. She's
Okay. Let's dance. You wave your arms like this. Yeah, wave your arms to the dance. It's a dancing drum. What happened? What should I do? Turn it on. Okay, I'll turn it on. Here we go. Ready, set. You do it. Hit the top and turn it.
Okay, so that's just an example of how you could use a Big Mac for a student to request something. To be a proficient switch user, you need to have access to 200 switch hits per day. So having students, giving them opportunities to have those chances for those switch hits are really important for them to be proficient communication users, to learn cause and effect, those kind of things. These are just some more examples of some things that we have available. Some message, we have iTalks, we did surplus some Cheap Talks this summer. We had some Cheap Talks that were 25 to 30 years old. We still had them. They didn't even have covers on the back. Tape was holding the batteries in. So we did finally surplus those things that have been around for far too long. And we do have some communication builders available. We have GoTalk 4+, 9, 20, and we also have these little pocket GoTalkers too. So we have a lot of these things available already. Now, high-tech solutions. So high-tech AAC refers to computerized devices such as dedicated communication devices, iPads with communication apps. Some of you may have students that have Nova Chat or a Print Keyromik, which is like the Accent 1000. Maybe they have a Dynavox. If you have students with these devices and you don't know really how to use them or help the student learn how to use them, give us a call. We will help you with that. If we personally don't know the device, because we have lots of companies develop lots of devices, and a lot of times students get those outside of the school system, we will call the representative of the company and we will get them to come in and talk to us about those devices. But we do have some iPads with the Proloquo to go software on them, or the touch chat software. We have some other things available too for students that need those. There's also the LAMP. We do have a student coming that uses the LAMP software at South Salem, I think, in Miss Walden's class. And so I'll get with you about that. So here are just some applications that are available. But this is an inspirational video about why and how AAC really can make the difference in a child's life, but also in education. Sometimes we think that our students don't understand or can't do or won't do. So let's watch this video.
Talk Christian, what do you want to do? I want to play with the wrestling guys.
2 days after having the device, Enrique got ill. We took him to the doctors and we couldn't figure out what he wanted. And we realized, oh, we have a device now. So we gave him the device and we said, what do you want?
Is this Superman?
So he touches the device and he says, please be quiet. And I looked at my husband and I said, there's no way he knows what that means. He just got the device 2 days ago.
Give it to me. No.
My husband said he's never been able to vocalize, please be quiet. He said, maybe he does. Can you ask him again? So I said, Enrique, you want mommy and daddy to be quiet? And he takes the iPad and he goes on to the opening app of Proloquo. And he goes, yes, thank you. I'm sorry. And that's when we realized he understands exactly and he knows what he wants.
I want to read a book, please.
Great. What books do you like? What's your favorite book?
His progression in language and speech has been miraculous because we started with just one word and he is now creating full grammatically correct sentences. The Proloquo has really allowed us to see how unique Enrique is and how keen his visual memory is.
With the keyboard, can you spell your name?
He remembers where things are in the device and is able to access things that the professionals don't remember where they were, and he knows and he gets it immediately. You show him something once and he has it.
Enrique.
Very nice. Can you use the keyboard again? How old are you?
The other children at school, whenever they would pass by, they would always just cringe sometimes in fear. They thought that was a little bit freaky and a little creepy that he wasn't able to speak. And now, since he has a voice, they're not afraid to speak to him. Just seeing everybody just care for him now, it makes me a lot more confident that he's gonna have a definitely better future.
He understood everything I have been saying to him for the past 9.5 years. And thanks now to the Proloquo to go.
Goodbye.
He was able to express to me how he felt, what he wanted, what he needed, his desires. There's no more guessing anymore.
So I love that video, just to see that, many of our students, sometimes we think they don't understand, but they really do understand. Now, one thing I do want to say that anytime we put devices in the hands of a student, it is not always as miraculous as 2 days. Okay. So we still have to teach them how to form the sentences, where the icons are. It's practice. It's not always immediate. It's very seldom is immediate. But when we do give them the opportunity, they can learn these devices, and then share with us what they know, how they feel, what they want, what they like, what they don't like. Personal information, there's lots of options. Let's see, I have a
And
question.
and also to communicate with their friends and others, not just with the teacher, but be able to communicate all around the school. And that's important as well.
So we have a question. Is it possible to get a Proloquo device for pre-K kids who are nonverbal, or is it too advanced? Proloquo can go down to what the child needs generally. So I don't think it's necessarily too advanced. A cool thing this year is pre-K students will, with the one-to-one technology, pre-K students will be getting iPads. So that app is pretty expensive. So we'll need to figure out, how to make that happen for the students that really need that app. But I think it is definitely not too advanced and would be very helpful for some of those students. Because you can really customize Proloquo down to, just a couple of pictures on a row to, many, many pictures on a screen. So it's pretty customizable. So the first video we saw, that instructor talked about core vocabulary, and core vocabulary is an essential part of a balanced communication system. I think when I first started teaching a couple of years ago, maybe-ish, we didn't really talk about core vocabulary. We talked about, content specific things, volcano, whatever. But if we use core words and we teach students to use those very high frequent words that we use to communicate, that I still understand that a student is talking about a volcano if they use the words big red fire. So really using the core words for describing things is helpful. And those are the words that they're going to come in contact most often. If we have a word such as volcano, unless you live around a volcano, you're probably not going to be saying that word very often. So learning to describe that is important. The core vocabulary communication board contains words that are used frequently, and those words are strung together to describe things. So it's usually verbs and adjectives, prepositions, nouns, articles, conjunctions. Those things are on the core words. So I would encourage all of you to really focus on some core words in your classroom. We do have some core word posters that Toby Dynabox gave us. I think we have a few left. We've given a good bit out, but I might have 8 or so left. If you're interested in those, we also could probably figure out how to kind of make something like that. I know in one class I have, someone has the poster put up, and we have copied those words on the color copier and made kind of a matching, so the student can actually take those words off of the board, the poster that's hanging in the classroom, and then use that to communicate. Then some of you may remember the communication boards I wrote a grant for the playground. So last year during the COVID, we did not get those put up. So we do still have those core boards for the playground that are going to Fairview, South Salem, Flint Hill. And without looking at my list, I'm not sure the fourth one. So hopefully we will be able to get those put up maybe in the next month or so on those playgrounds too. And hopefully I can write a grant to get more. So core words are not usually nouns. Only a few of the top 200 core words are nouns. These nouns are very general, like girl, house, rather than specific things like porcupine, celery. We just talked about that with the volcano. So very general things. That fringe vocabulary are those more specific things. We'll see that sometimes in our unique learning system. They'll have some communication boards that are specific to the story for that month or that lesson. And while I'm talking about the unique learning system and Symbol Sticks, so Symbol Sticks is the symbol system where these symbols can be found, the boards can be created, all of that. This year, all special needs preschool teachers will have a subscription to Symbol Sticks. So you're going to be able to make these boards. You can make games, flashcards, bingo games, boards, all kinds of stuff for your students. So all the special needs preschool will have access to that. And then if you're a speech therapist, get with the self-contained teachers in your classroom and work together. The self-contained teachers in your school and work together to get access so y'all can be working on the same vocabulary throughout the month. The unique learning system, it gives you some core vocabulary words for the month with the story, so y'all could be working on the same things. And so the teacher can share that with you. And then again, strategies for AAC users. Students don't just automatically know what to do with the device and how to communicate. We have to show them. We have to always have it available. We have to model, and then model some more. Model the device, show them how to do it, show them how to use it. Find opportunities to use it in your day. During your reading instruction, during your math lesson, during calendar, find time to use it. And then there's a strategy called sabotage. So that sounds really terrible, but it's not so bad. So what you want to do is you want to sabotage that communication situation. Maybe at lunch, you want to give the student their plate, but maybe they need to request their spoon or their fork. So you withhold something so they can request it. You sabotage the situation so they have to use their voice to get something that they want or need. So that's the strategy. Of course, you can always Google strategies for teaching nonverbal students how to communicate, and there are tons and tons and tons.